That is how we do. That's how we do. Go live. Here we go. Here we go. Round up family. Here we go. Here we go. Class. Oh man, I'm on fire. Good God, I'm thankful. I'm thankful, round uppers. I'm so thankful. The more thankful I am, the more the universe gives me. Greetings, class. Let me send all these notifications out. Good God, a million people got to. Round uppers. Greetings. Greetings. Merry Christmas, round uppers. Or as they say in the South, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Let me let this dog in. Good Lord. Are you going to be quiet? Come on, girl. Oh. Round up family. You got to bear with me. Christmas is here and the dog is going crazy. Greetings, class. This is Chris Haskins with therealestateroundup.com. My mission and ministry is to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. In doing that, I want to introduce you to something called the Land Trust. And today we will be doing the Land Trust Masterclass. So go ahead and download your docs below. I'm going to give you a 50% discount to the end of the day. Download those documents. I'm going to go over them with you step by step. I got them all right here. We're going to go over this crap. So after the day, 7-page land trust document, what you will get in that doc packet below. I'm glad you asked, Roundup family. You're going to get a copy of my land trust agreement. You're going to get a copy of my assignment of beneficial interest. If you're wholesaling, sometimes you want to, I remember, good God, how many bank REO deals we had to do inside of a land trust, sell the beneficial interest because you can't wholesale a land trust, right? You're going to get a copy of my deed, blank deed to warranty, and a copy of the successor trustee. What happens if your trustee goes rogue and he's like, you know what? I'm going to try to sell Chris's house. So we need to be able to fire him and replace him, right? Rounduppers. Go below, download the documents. You can follow along. First, we have to get an understanding what it is we're doing today. Today is my Land Trust Masterclass. And let me read this disclaimer so I don't want you coming after me. The information offered here is not meant to be legal advice or professional advice. It is strictly for educational purposes and should not be relied upon to conduct your legal affairs. I'm not licensed in Virginia or nor any other state in America. I'm not an attorney, nor qualified to render any legal advice. I advise you to seek your own legal assistance before implementing anything you see or hear here. All right. If you're watching this, you have agreed to all that stuff. So let's get rolling. Rounduppers, thank you for joining me. Matter of fact, I got a document I need to add in here too, the affidavit of trust. Somebody can remind me of that. That's just to let the title company know that you give the trustee permission to act on your behalf. And we'll get to that in a minute. Rounduppers, what are we talking about here? Land trust, or an AKA grantor revocable trust, right? Same thing, depending on what state you live in, right? So if you're in Virginia, Florida, Illinois, you fall under the land trust. Any other state, you go by the revocable grantor revocable trust, right? I don't want to hear this whining talking about this is not legal in my state. Oh, we can't do it here. I promise you, all 50 states it can be done. I haven't done them in all of them. I've done them in the majority, but I'm dealing with, it's rough because I deal with my inner circle members around the country and they go talk to these professionals. And the next thing you know, they're saying, well, it can't be done here. So I'm having to fight this battle. Roundup, I hope you pray for me that I can keep fighting it because just lack of awareness of what's going on. Okay, trust. First of all, Land Trust Masterclass. Thank you for joining us. There are 3 parts to this thing, right? 3 parts. Now, you will not, if this is your first time seeing anything about a land trust, why do we do land trust? To get the properties out of our name, right? I do not want you buying real estate in your name. Neither do I want you buying real estate in your company name. Why? Because I don't want anybody to find the registered agent from your company or you. All right. So we'll make sure you get your questions in right over there to the chat box. And if you're watching this later, there are going to be a million questions. You can just click that chat and follow along. Get your questions in. I will do my quick keynote, and then at the end, I will do Q&A. My favorite part is Q&A, so I'll make my keynote very short. Why did we do land trust? To get your hind parts off of public record. God, true story. Matter of fact, my boy, Mr. Transaction Engineer, just got a lawsuit come down the pipeline with his mother. God bless him. Mother didn't transfer properties into the trust. Now they're scrambling, getting them out of the trust. Had the same thing go down with a client. Got a judgment for $19,000. Calls me, Chris, I need to get these houses out of my name because the judgment's coming down the pipeline. Can't help you. Once the judgment hits, it's nothing you can do. So that's why we want to get these houses out of our name. So when you go sell them, nothing will be attached. Say you own a property at 123 Easy Street Trust. 123 Easy Street Trust, right? It doesn't own anything but that property. That is it. Now, if Chris Haskins owns that house, I got a car, I got liabilities, I got children, I got bills in my name, all type of stuff, right? Loans. What happens if I default on one of those loans? The creditor is going to come right after me, right? They're going to attach right to my assets. So let's get your name off public record. So the 3 parts to the trust, bear with me. 3 parts to a land trust, rounduppers. 3 parts. The first part is the house. The first part is the house. Will this live video be on YouTube channel for people that miss it? Yeah, it'll be on. You won't be able to get the all this will be on here, but you will not be able to get the discount, the 50%. Oh man, you got to use coupon code. That's right. Is that on there? Use coupon code. What is it? Use coupon code TRUST to get the discount. Use coupon code TRUST to realize the discount if you want. There it is. Yeah, right there. You can get it, but you will not be able to. The discount ends tonight. Sorry about that. All right. First part is the house, right? Second part is your trust agreement. That's the 7-page dot. We download it. We're going to go over the whole thing, not all of it, every line, but I'm going to go over the most important part for you to know. We're going to go over this 7, and no one sees this. No one sees your trust agreement, but you and the title company or attorney that's closing the deal. And the people involved, the house, the documents, and the people involved. 3 parts, right? 3 parts. First portion of the people is the trustee. Second portion of the people is going to be the beneficiaries. And I'll get to all that if it sounds crazy right now, which it did. Round up, believe me. If you think I'm talking Chinese right now, I was where you are in 2007. Good God, how many training courses did I take to understand trust? Because I knew the best thing for me was to get my name off public record. We have to get our names off public record, right? Own nothing, control everything. What is a trust? To get your bearings out. If you don't have your bearings, just go over to chrishaskins.com and you can get a copy of your bearings real estate guide. Trust. Let's see. What is a trust? Trust, an arrangement whereby property is transferred to a trusted third party. The trustee, right? The trustee is the one that you will trust in all of this. And we're going to get down to how this stuff works in a minute. I want to get your definitions down first. Transferred to a trusted third party by a grantor. Don't forget, this is once again, grantor, revocable trust, or land trust. Grantor is going to be your beneficiary, the person that benefits, right? The trustee holds the property for the beneficiary of another. Beneficiary. You got to know these things. The beneficiary is the one who benefits. You have to know the definitions of these words. It's not going to work if you don't get it. Trustee. Trustee. Missy, please. I'm sorry, y'all. Missy just lost her mind. As soon as I cut this thing on. The trustee. All right, let's get to the definition of our trustee. One who holds property in trust for another to secure performance of an obligation. That obligation is ownership of the house. The neutral party in the trust deed transaction. They're neutral, right? They don't care whether you buy it, sell it, refinance it, rent it out, burn it down. The trustee, they have no say-so regarding this transaction. They are nothing but, how I like to remember this, Analogies. The master teacher always taught in analogies. As I'm aging, I'm like, analogies really work, right? So the trustee, I like to look at it as my employee. Trustee, employee, they show up to closing. I don't show up to closing because the trustee is going to sign all the documents for me, right? And yes, we do offer trustee services for anybody around the country. If you need me to be if you need your boy to be your trustee, I'll do that. You could just send me, you got my email, chrisbuyshouses@gmail. I don't know. Some people don't have anybody they trust to be their trustee because the trustee can, yes, sell your house. They can refinance it, right? They can transfer title at any time. They can go borrow money, same thing. They can buy and sell, do an option on it. So you better use or choose wisely who you have for your trustee, my rounduppers, because if you got a trustee that's a little questionable, I had one. I've had to fire them, so make sure you hire the right person. And yes, we do that. All right, let's get to the beneficiary. Got my bearings here. Thank you for joining me. Matter of fact, I forgot to say thank you for hanging out with me. The beneficiary, the person who receives or is to receive the benefits resulting from the certain trust, or that certain acts, the certain trust. So the beneficiary is the one, how I remember it. Trustee is employee. Beneficiary is the one that benefits, right? We're the ones that get the money. We're the ones in the back calling all the shots, right? Just like the wizard calling all the shots. So how this works is the power with the land trust is it's personal property. So the house, you buy the property, the property goes into the trust. Buy the property goes into the trust. How do we name these things, right? Let's just call it how I name it. Address, trust. This is how we name them. Right now, I just call them the 1, 2, 3 trust. I used to call them the 1, 2, 3 Easy Street Trust, right? But then I'm like, I don't even want the street name on title anymore. All I want to have is the street number on title, all right? And if you're just joining us, make sure you go below, exercise your right to get 50% off. Vote yourself in to get 50% off of my land trust document packet. And we're going to go over all those docs in a minute. So the house, you buy the property, right? The house goes into the trust. Then the trust is designated by whatever the beneficiary wants to do. He tells the trustee to come sign all the docs. Matter of fact, my trustee comes, borrows all the money, goes to the city for permits. I'm trying to think all the stuff that he does. I mean, y'all seen Smitty around. He does everything. Guy just powerful, but we do pay him, so you own the trust, all right? So instead of owning the house, like in a typical transaction, like if you were to put it in your name or the LLC would own the house, right? But in this case, you're putting the house in the trust and you own the trust. So I remember one time when I sold a house and the new buyers didn't pay taxes. They tried to come after me for some back real estate taxes. And I got a tax bill. I remember like it was yesterday. I think it was $800. I got the bill. I just completely ignored it, went away. I'm sure they went after the new owners, no doubt. So understand this. Trustee signs all the docs. They're the front man out there taking all the bullets, signing all the paperwork. You are behind the curtains. You are the beneficiary, calling all the shots behind the curtains roundup. It's beautiful. But you're not going to get this. Once again, it took me 3 years. 3 years roundup. So I don't want you to beat yourself up if you don't get this stuff yet. So I'll go over it one more time. House goes into trust, which is your trust agreement. We're going to go over that in a few moments. Trust agreement, and the trustee goes to sign all the documents while you sit in the back collecting all the money from the rents, whether you're going to sell it. I know we get paid when we do lease options. They pay us down payments. How else? If you would do a land contract, so all the money, you're the one, the beneficiary is the one that gets the money. And the reason I did this here is the beneficiaries is tied in. They're the ones that really, the owners of this deal. They're calling all the shots. Okay, I hope you got that. I know we're kind of, man, I can't go over it. It's actually kind of simple when you think about it. Now, who should your trustee be? Let's talk about that a little bit. Your trustee. For us, I have people that I trust locally and abroad. Locally and abroad. So I have like some of my long-term holds. My trustee will be somebody in another state because I don't want you using a family member with the same last name for your trustee. Why is that? Well, let me show you Exhibit A. Let me show you my deed. Show you what the deed looks like. Share my screen. Oops, hold tight. Sample deed. There we go. I messed this up. So you can see here sorry about that, y'all. I don't want you having a family member on title because here's one of my deeds, right? This deed of bargain and sale made this 25th day of September between Cynthia, whoever, and hereinafter called grantor. This is a house. This is one of the houses we bought. Now, don't forget, buying a house is nothing but the seller signing the deed. Hereinafter grantor and Todd Smith, comma, trustee of the Oak Drive Trust. I guess that one we just put in the street name and we didn't do the the number. So if you see here, Todd Smith, his name goes on title, right? This is what the deed looks like. So if your name is John Smith, right? And then you got your cousin Todd Smith as your trustee, guess what could possibly happen? I'm not saying that it will. Guess what could possibly happen? They could correlate the two, right? I don't want anybody with the same last name being the trustee for you, rounduppers, because I don't want them to think that, you know what, that Haskins name. Now, Smith is really, I mean, it's such a common name. I mean, it would be very hard to pull that one off. But Haskins, let me see who we got. Beezer. You know, I don't want you using Jamal Dark. I don't want you using any people that have the same last name because I don't want any creditor or predator thinking that you have something to do with this property, right? So just use somebody, a friend or colleague that you trust, family member that has a different last name, and I would prefer them to live out of state. Now, a lot of houses that we buy, we are only going to own them for a short amount of time. So I use a local trustee because I don't feel like mailing stuff around. But you can use an out-of-town trustee. Just got to just mail stuff. So your trustee better be somebody you trust. Nothing but an employee. They have no liability. They can go out here and get into a car crash. Has nothing to do with your trust or ownership of that property. Matter of fact, I've got a trustee now that's filed bankruptcy. You know, has no effect on our trust whatsoever. The income for the trust, the down payments, any of that stuff. I told E I had a class at 2. Let me shut this down, y'all. Sorry about that. I told him I had a class at 2. Okay. So you got the trustee, beneficiary, land trust agreement, house goes in it. All right, let's do this. Pull out your next document, gone. Download your docs below. This discount will end at midnight tonight. Okay, pull out your land trust agreement and get your questions in there in that little chat box right there, rounduppers, and I'll go over every one of those at the end of this training. I love it. This is my favorite thing to teach. Why? Because nobody else is teaching it. Why in the hell aren't people talking about land trust nowadays? It doesn't make sense, right? Okay, pull out your land trust agreement, rounduppers. Let's do this. So now you got a fairly good understanding of how land trusts work. You're in the background. You're the beneficiary. You got your trustee out there signing the docs. You got your house. You know how to name your trust, the address trust or the number trust. Kind of got an understanding of this. And it won't happen overnight, but it will be a time where it just clicks. We're walking through people how to do this all around the country. So cool that I could just share what I've learned over the years. This is so nice. This is so nice. Share screen. Let's do this. Okay, pull out your trustee land trust agreement. And depending on where you're at, you might have to, or maybe E is calling to tell me. No. All right, here we go. Here's our land trust agreement. Make sure you can see this. Yep, you can see it. Pull that out. I'm not going to go over every line, but I have to go over the most important stuff. Let me see if I can zoom in here. Can I zoom in? Oh, there we go. Cool. That was nice. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, this is it. This is the document, rounduppers, that you keep in your filing cabinet. All right. You don't show this to anybody other than the title company. I don't want you showing this to, oh man, no type of tenants, rentals. Sometimes a lender might ask you for this, maybe, but nobody sees this because I don't want anybody to know who the beneficiary is of that land trust or grantor revocable trust, whatever state you live in. I don't want them to know. Why? Because then they're going to come after you and try to put a judgment on that house, right? So keep this document in the file cabinet. Nobody, I repeat, nobody gets to see this other than you and the closing company. Land trust agreement, your name or your company name. And know when you download this, rounduppers, it is not going to be highlighted. You guys give me a hard time, man. You guys are the ones that make me. I'm like, I don't know how many emails I did this class before. I didn't highlight it on your document because I don't want you to have to unhighlight it. So I'm just going to go over the high points, and that's in yellow. And you or your company name right here, just put your name in there. Don't be emailing me talking about, well, I don't know what to do here. I used to put my name in here, but now people would ask me. Anyway, okay, your name is the grantor/beneficiaries. Remember, the beneficiaries are the ones that what? Benefit from this trust, hereinafter collectively referred to as the beneficiary, whether one or more, which designation shall include all successors, interests of any beneficiary. So if you move on to the afterlife, you have someone else that's going to take over this trust. And your trustee, somebody you trust. Somebody you trust, right? A colleague, friend. That's trustee whose address is mailing address. Now, let me stay here for a minute. Trustee mailing address, right? I don't want you putting your address. Okay, this is the address for the trust, right? I don't want you to put your mailing address or PO box because what? What's the first thing the private investigator is going to do when they look up the deed with your address on it? They're going to type it in, see who lives at wherever your address is, and they could maybe put that together that you are one of the members of this trust. So just use the trustee address for the land trust itself, okay? Use the trustee address for the trust itself. All right, we covered that. All right, declaration of trust. The trust created by the grantors, which is you, herein shall be known as the street number trust, 123 trust, the 4482 trust. We aren't even using, I'm not even using street names anymore. I'm just using street numbers, right? So I learned this from Papa. I seen him do that. I seen Ronald Grant do this. 6074 trust. And you can remember that because you remember the street addresses to the houses that you bought. All right. Number 2, purpose of the trust. The purpose of this trust shall be to hold title to the trust property and to protect and conserve it until its sale or other disposition or liquidation. All right. So remember, disposition is how we're going to dispose of the property, how we're going to get rid of it. So the trustee will come in and sign off on that, how we're going to dispose of it. Oh man, this is good stuff here. Good stuff. Purpose of the trust. Oh yeah, and let me add real fast. God, there's so much to teach you. The purpose of the trust is merely to take title to a piece of real property. If you can keep this in mind when you're trying to comprehend this stuff, the purpose of a land trust is merely to take title to a piece of real property. That's all. If you can kind of boil it down to that, the trust, all it does is take title, nothing else. It doesn't have a bank account. It doesn't even have a tax ID number. It doesn't have to file a return. It doesn't even get a check written out to it because the checks can get written to your boy. Matter of fact, I've had title companies write the check out to a trustee before, right? So that is the only reason for the trust, the purpose, to take title to a piece of property. That's it. Number 5, duties and interest of beneficiaries. The persons named in the attached Exhibit B, and we'll get to that, are the beneficiaries of this trust, and as such shall be entitled to all the earnings. Oh man. Remember, the beneficiaries are the ones that are making the money, right? We're the ones that calling the shots. The beneficiary, ones that benefits. Oops, sorry about that. I shouldn't have clapped off at that. Next, the beneficiaries also have the right to direct the trustee to convey or otherwise deal with the title. Remember, they're just telling the trustee what to do. That's it. B, that the beneficiary has the right to participate in the management and the control of the trust property. C, they have the right to receive the proceeds and avails from the rental, sale, mortgage, if you want to refinance, right? Or other disposition of the trust property. So that's how that works. The duties are right there. All right, here we go. Oh, man. Number 6, powers and duties of trustee. The trustee shall not record this agreement or any name of any of the beneficiaries in any place of public record. You better not put my name on title anywhere. That's why we do land trust, to get me off title. Then you go down here, unless ordered by a court order. You can't get around it. My homies with child support, you're not gonna get around this, because what is the first thing they're gonna do? They're gonna go get a court order to see who owns this, who the beneficiaries are. You got the child support and you got the alimony. You're done. You can't get around it. This is not. Don't hire me, class, to avoid obligation. I want my man out there to pay what you owe. Pay what you owe. Don't hire me to try to get you to hide this stuff. Man, this is good stuff. Back to my trustee obligations. Letter C. Oh, I'm sorry. The trustee can issue notes or bonds to secure the payment of the same by mortgaging the whole or any part of the trust property. The trustee can borrow money. OMG, Jesus. OMG. Round up. You better get somebody you trust. Letter C. The trustee shall have the following powers with the consent of the beneficiaries: to purchase any real property for the trust. That's going to be what we're doing, buying that house. And to sell at public auction or private sale, to barter, to exchange, or dispose of. It's written right there. So I don't want you to have to worry about that when you go to the title company. The trustees can also rent or lease the whole or any part of the trust property. So they can rent out a room or they can rent out the whole property. So you got to remember that when you're dealing with your trustee. Once again, I can't stress enough. You better hire somebody that you trust. Real estate's big on trust, right? All right. Number 7. Let me fix this thing here. Roundup. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys are just making. Number 7. There we go. Compensation of trustee. The beneficiaries, number 7, the beneficiaries jointly and severally agree that the trustee shall receive the sum of $100. That's what we pay. We pay $100 for their fee. And if you want me to do it now, I'm charging $200 just because I got to charge. Anyway, that's what I'm charging. If you want me to be a trustee, it'd be $200. One-time fee for his services as trustee hereunder. Liability of trustees. All obligations incurred by the trustee hereunder shall be the obligation of the trust only and not the individual trustee. The trustee shall not be required to enter into any personal obligations or liability in dealing with the trust property, nor expend any personal sums. So the trustee, anything that he does outside of the capacity when operating on behalf of the trust, has nothing to do with the trust itself. So if they get in trouble, you don't want it to come back on you. No obligation. I love that. Required to enter into. Shall not be required to enter into any personal obligations or liability. Oh man, I like it. Removal of trustee. The beneficiaries shall have the power to remove a trustee from his office or appoint a successor to succeed him at any time. And we will go over that in a minute. I'm going to give you the successor trustee affidavit. So that way, if you got to fire somebody, you just switch out the paperwork. Resignation and successor. Any trustee may resign his or her office within 30 days, written notice to the beneficiaries. Sometimes you have to, life happens, and you have to move on, right? You don't want to hold these people forever if they don't want to be, especially if they have other obligations to do. Yes, rounduppers. Number 14, the interest of a beneficiary, which is going to be us, or any part of that interest may be transferred only by written assignment. And we're going to go over that in a few moments. The transfer or assignment of beneficial interest. You have that in your document packet, Roundup family. All you have to do, make sure you download it. It's 50% off today only. It will end at midnight. We're going to go over the assignment of beneficial interest. You got to have it. Some of these documents you just got to have. Number 15. Oops. Sorry about that. Number 15. Individual liability of trustee. Stating that again, the trustee should have no individual liability. We stated that earlier. Or obligation whatsoever arising from his ownership as trustee of the legal title to the trust property. No liability. None. Zero. We don't want our trustee to have any. And at the end, beneficiaries. Name of beneficiary is going to be you. Sign above. Name of trustee. Sign right there. Now, I got to show you. I had somebody the other day, my boy in Jersey. When your trustee signs this thing, Roundup, stay with me. You got to make sure you get this. When your trustee signs your land trust and your deed, matter of fact, any document on behalf of your trust for that matter, you better get them to sign it like this. So when I sign Chris Haskins, comma, trustee. Make sure they sign it, comma, trustee. Why do we do that? Because they're acting in the capacity of the trust. They're acting in the capacity of the trust. Not, well, when I sign it, I'm not acting in the capacity of Chris Haskins. I'm acting in the capacity of a trustee for a land trust. Let me repeat that. When I sign when the trustee signs, they are not acting for individual liability in the capacity of themselves personally. They are acting in the capacity of an employee, aka trustee for that trust only. Okay. That's why they have to do comma trust, right? Now we could layer this thing out. So when I sign it on Chris Haskins, managing member for my LLC, right? So we can layer it all up, but that's not what this class is for. This class is just to get you aware and get you understanding how land trusts work. All right. And if you haven't downloaded your docs yet, make sure you get them 50% off until midnight tonight, my rounduppers. All right. Just go to the link below and put in the code TRUST. All right. Let's keep with our land trust and then we're done. Then here we go. Yes. Exhibit A. Thanks for holding on with me. Exhibit A, rounduppers. Exhibit A is going to be page, what page is this? Page 8. The Exhibit A is just the property address, the legal description. All right. And then the final page is Exhibit B, the beneficiaries, you or your company name. I hope you use an LLC, but you don't have to. Your company name. And sometimes, like if we're doing partnerships, you'll have a 50% Chris Haskins, 50% Joe Yellow, or 25% Chris Haskins, 30% Joe Yellow, 40% whoever, whoever you're doing business with, you type it in right here. Undivided interest. So you're getting it. You're getting it, rounduppers. You got it. So that's your whole trust agreement. You take it after you get it done. You turn it into the title company. They do the deed. You put it in the folder, in the file cabinet, never to open it again unless you have to go. Sometimes I have to use it to get utilities on. Sometimes I have to use it to get building permits or actually interface with the city. So you might have to use it, but I highly recommend you do not show that to anybody. You do not want them knowing your business. All right. That's why we do this. Okay. Next document is going to be your deed. Warranty deed to trustee. Here we go. Pull out your next document, your warranty deed to trustee. Let's go over that real quickly. Got that. Oops. Warranty deed. Let me open it up for you. Okay. This is the deed that you're going to use if you have to transfer property out of your name that you already own. Let me repeat that. This is the deed that you use to transfer property that you already own into the trust. This deed for good consideration made this blank day a blank between blank hereinafter called the grantors. That's going to be you grantor. Remember, grantor revocable trust, right? You're the grantor / beneficiary, same thing. And blank hereinafter called the trustee. The trustee is whoever you hire. And the county of state of blank. All right. Legal description goes down here. You put the property address here. Next part is just the signature part, and it's over. You're putting it into a trust. Warranty deed to trustee to have and to hold the same together, all singular appurtenances, blah, blah, blah. warrant and forever define all the property. So this is it. You just fill it out, turn it in. And what I recommend is I don't practice this stuff. I don't actually create deeds. I just tell the attorney or title company what I want to do. I want to take this property out of my name, put it in a trust. Let them prepare the deeds. Let them prepare the deeds roundup. You don't have to do this stuff. I just included it so you could see how it looks. That's our first doc as a warranty deed. Next document, pull it up, is going to be your appointment of replacement trustee. What happens if you have a trustee that you no longer, I know I have one, no longer do business with, you have a falling out, or they go rogue, now you got beef, they're the trustee. Oh man, what do you do then? As Ron LeGrand says, you got to whack them, right? You got to whack them. So how do we do that? Simple. It's called appointment of successor trustee. Well, replacement trustee, same thing. The undersigned, this is one of your docs in your doc packet. The undersigned beneficiaries represent that they are all and 100% of the beneficiaries to that certain declaration of trust and land trust agreement. All right, remember guys, your land trust agreement is that 7-page document that we just took an hour to go over, which is known as your name, whatever the trust that you had, land trust, whatever trust that you use. Now, right now, I want you to name your trust, 456 trust, 1823 trust, right? From now on, we don't even put the street addresses anymore. And they hereby replace, let's just say, Johnny Black is your current trustee, and appoint new trustee, right? Let's put their name right there. So you're literally taking out the current trustee, putting in a new trustee, right? Whose address is blank. And make sure you always put the trustee's address. Do not put your address. To represent all of their beneficial interests, that's us, in said trust as their replacement trustee as fiduciary for said interest with the same powers. Well, you can read over this roundup. You got this stuff. You can read it over. So that is your replacement successor trustee. Appointment of successor trustee. I mean, you can name it. I mean, to have so many different names. This is appointment of successor trustee. What do we call it there? Replacement trustee. You can call it either one, right? But from time to time, we have to let people go. It happens. Don't get all burnt up about it. I mean, people come and go, you know? Okay, now, our next document is going to be when we are wholesaling, or we want to transfer the interests in a land trust. Say, for instance, if I got a house in a trust, man, it's so powerful. And I want to sell it, but I don't want to change the title at the courthouse because then I got to pay all type of recording fees, right? Did you know that you could literally sell your land trust to somebody else and not pay any type of transfer tax? I mean, it's mind blowing when you think about it, because usually what happens when you have to sell a house, you do a deed, you got to do a big old closing, you got to pay a title company, you got closing costs, you got recording fees, all that crap, right? When I come to you and I sell you my land trust that owns the house, my land trust, right, owns the house. If I want to sell you this trust for $80,000, now, Mr. Smith, you're the new owner of this trust that owns this house, and I walk down the street with an $80,000 check, all you got to do is do an assignment of beneficial interest. How powerful is that? Good gracious, how powerful. You're the new owner, no closing costs, none of that. Man, powerful. Surprised they even let people do that. Okay, here we go. Pull up your assignment of beneficial interest, rounduppers. We're going to be going over the assignment of beneficial interest now. If you don't got your docs, make sure you download your docs below, roundup. Type in the code TRUST. Get your 50% off. You know your boy's working for you. I'm working for you. Oh, here we go. And if you notice, my clients, my inner circle members, y'all already know everything's standard, right? I don't care if it's a lease. I don't care if it's a note. I don't care if it's in a contract, an agreement. I don't care if it's, what else? Standard. Oh, assignment agreement. Even on my regular assignments, assignment of contract, everything is what? Standard. And I highly recommend you to operate that way too. Okay, this addendum made This is the assignment of beneficial interest where we're selling our interest in the land trust. It's so powerful. I'll get to how we use it in a minute. This addendum made on the blank day of blank for the real estate sale of 123 Easy Street. This is the house that we have under contract or that we own, whatever. Legal description, by and between blank, the assignor, that's going to be the current beneficiary. They're going to sell it. And blank, the assignee, that's the person that's receiving the house or the trust. Assignor agrees to assign his rights and beneficial interest to purchase the attached contract. This is okay. So this is the contract. This is going to be before you actually close on it. But you can just take that out. You don't have to put. This is if you're assigning the contract, right? So if you already own the house and you're just assigning the trust, you can just change contract to attached trust. For a fee of $5,000, whatever you're going to charge them, payable as follows. The assignee agrees to pay $5,500 at closing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So this is your assignment of beneficial interest. You can use it. You can use this roundup before you even own the house, right? Because just like when you are wholesaling contracts, you're wholesaling land trust. Same thing. Instead of wholesaling the contract, you wholesale the trust. Just get it out of there, get your fee and gone. Or if you want to sell it, so you own the house already, you can use assignment of beneficial interest to sell the trust after you own it. Either way. So you got to have an assignment of beneficial interest because it's going to denote who the new beneficiary is, right? So now I'm the beneficiary. If you want this house / trust, because the trust owns the house, I'm gonna charge you whatever, $50,000, $5,000, whatever it will be to transfer the ownership of this trust that owns 123 Easy Street over to the new beneficiaries. I love it. And you're talking about so pathetically simple. Let's just, as Ron says, black ink on white paper. Round up. You have been bearing with me all this time. You bear with me to get through these documents. Now let's get to some Q&A. So you got it here. Yes, we were on Judge Mathis. I love it. Matter of fact, we're going back soon. I love Judge Mathis, man. That's my dog. Round uppers. You got it down. You will finally understand how land trusts work. Now, once again, don't beat yourself up. Oh, I forgot to mention, why do we want to have an assignment of beneficial interest? Sometimes, remember when we're dealing with bank REOs. Say you got a house under contract with a bank. You can't wholesale it. The bank is not going to allow you to wholesale that contract. So if you buy that property in 456 trust, then you assign the beneficial interest over to your new buyer for a fee, $10,000, $5,000. Then they are the new owners of that trust. Let me forewarn you here, class. Let me forewarn you. Don't be out here trying to do seminars to people. We don't do free seminars. If your buyer doesn't understand land trust, just close on it. Because I have yet to convince, persuade, train, teach, coach in buyers how to use land trusts. You have to want to learn how to do this stuff. If I come to you under a situation where you're getting ready to give me some money and I'm trying to train you on how I'm going to wholesale you this house, transfer beneficial interest, you get your own trustee, assignment. It's not going to work. Stop doing seminars, free seminars for people. When I stopped doing free seminars for people, my business blew up. When I started only talking to people that wanted the information, that's when my life got a lot easier. Round up. Okay, let's get to some Q&A. Make sure you download your document packet. All my land trust docs, 50% off. Yes, this is my last training for the year, Rounduppers. Thank you for allowing me to bless you. I am just so honored that you would even consider your boy a viable option for your real estate training. Let's see what we got here. Get your Q&A, get your questions. I don't know which way it is. That way. Get your questions in the chat over there, and we'll go ahead and I've been flapping my gums for 45 minutes. Now it's time for me to hear what you got. Hey, Dino, Merry Christmas. Yes. When you put a question in, make sure you please put in your state or city where you are. Marcus, will this be available offline? I don't know what that means. It's all on the internet. Oh, man, in the Bay Area. Somebody needed a title company on California. I got one for you. I was talking to one of my inner circle members and my boy Eric in San Francisco. He's got a title company that will help you even anywhere in the state. Hey, Sarah, what's going on? I did know Texas and why. Oh, man, you guys are all over the place. Sister, happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you. Got Georgia. Holy cow. Maryland checking in the D. Butterboo. Butterboo. What up? You know, I used to live in Westland. I got a little bit of Detroit in me. Nate Singh, will this be on your YouTube channel? Yes, but you will not be able to get a discount if you don't get it right now. You got it all. Nice. You got every doc. Praise God. I'm happy for you, brother. Now you better, Jason, you better go implement this stuff. Don't just have it in the arsenal. You know what? Just like gasoline is stored energy. Gasoline is so powerful, but it only works at that time when you ignite it, right? These documents, all they are is stored energy. They only work if you light them up, if you use them. Hey, Beezer. Wealth and wellness. Article 1, Section 10. No state shall pass any law impairing the obligation of a contract. I love it. I love it. Hey, Nickel, I have a property you just refinanced. Okay, you better use that money. If you took any money out, you better use it to buy equity. It's currently deeded to an LLC. How do I move it into a land trust? Very simple. You're going to take, Nickel, that's a good question. You're going to take your warranty deed to trustee. Where is it at? Blank warranty deed to trustee. Here we go. I'll bring it back up for you. Take this warranty deed to trustee. Oh, shoot. What's going on? Add the stream. Take your warranty deed to trustee. Grantors is your company right here. The first line. This is your LLC. You're going to transfer it into the trust. All right. It's your trustee. You're going to transfer that over. Right into the new trust, my friend. Transfer that right into your trust. Or what I recommend you to do to you, Nickel, I would recommend you to just go to your title company, take your LLC docs and say, listen, I want to transfer this into, take your land trust agreement, type it all up, make your LLC the beneficiary on page 9, right? You see my beneficiaries right here. Now your LLC is the beneficiary of the land trust. Just have your title company type a deed up and it's over. You know, very, very simple. Very simple. Have them do it. I don't use though. I have not yet prepared a deed, right? I let the title company do the deeds. That way I'm off the hook. You know, I don't want you on the hook for doing that. I'll show you how to do it, but let them do it. Oh yeah, don't forget to like my content, rounduppers. Please hit that like button for me. Jamal Dark, is this revocable or irrevocable? This is a grantor revocable trust, my friend. Revocable, can be changed. 8-pack, welcome, welcome. Sister Vega Nada, cool name. Does the land trust docs get signed at the time of the subject to closing? Absolutely. So what's going to happen is when you show up to closing, right, your title company will have the land trust. Let's say the property is 123 Easy Street. You're going to have your company name, your trustee, name of the trust, all that. And when you get there, all you got to do is sign the signature page and get it notarized, right? That's going to be page 7. So when you buy the property, you don't do anything with the signatures yet. Let your title company or attorney notarize everything when you get there. So you'll create it all. Or the reason I do this roundup, because this knowledge shouldn't cost $1 million. You know, it shouldn't cost thousands of dollars. You can do this stuff and just turn it into them. Because if you show up and say, Mr. Attorney, Mrs. Title Company, I want to put a property in the trust, they're going to start cranking up the money. It's going to be $1,000. And they may not even have the docs. So yes, you do that at closing, Sister Vega. Oh man, Rob, Michigan. Jamon, that is a tricky part, finding people you can trust. But I will tell you, Jamon, start hanging around some better people. If you can't trust anybody, start hanging around some good people. Mr. C's, do I have to set up a trust for each property? Yes. I better not hear you putting 2 or 3 properties into one land trust. Why don't we want to do that? Because if somebody comes after you and you have 4 houses in the 4, 5, 6 trust, then they're going to attach to all 4, right? So just put one house, one trust, right? And it's not, I mean, if you get the docs, shoot, you're paying $100. One house, one trust, my friend. Who asked that? Mr. C's. One house for one trust. That's all you need. Don't be out there trying to be cheap and putting several properties in there. Oh man, hey, Dragon, yes. Thank you. I'm honored. Yeah, we'll be your trustee. Not my favorite thing to do, but I will do it for you. I don't need to do it. Kimbella Renee, that's a cool name. I have a New York property free and clear. Good. And I just took a HELOC on with Neighbor Federal. I have your trust package. Can I put it in the trust? Absolutely. What I would do, Kimbella, since you already took the loan out, just transfer it over. Go to the title company. Or up there, you're going to have to go to an attorney. And Siegel can do that. Jessica Siegel, she's got her own stuff up there. I think she's got her own package. She has a grantor, like New York is a grantor revocable trust state. So you may have to change the name, the wording on it. But yep, you can do that. One more thing. What can I do to prevent the trustee from selling my home? Good question. Here's what we do, Roundup. Pay close attention to me. Listen to me very closely. This is what we do. All right. I don't share this all the time, but I'm feeling extra giving today. Extra giving. So let's say, for instance, how can I say this? I'll just tell it to you. We're at 50 minutes. You own a property in a trust. Your trustee tries to go sell your house, right? How can we prevent that? It's chess, right? You got to block the trustee from selling your property. How do we do that? We get our trustees to sign mortgages. We borrow a little bit of money on every house, right? So we have a small deed of trust on that property, right? Or you can have a big one. Doesn't matter. So you've got a deed of trust on there. So when the trustee tries to sell it, the mortgage holder will be notified. Let me repeat that. If the trustee tries to sell a property that you hold in trust, you have a mortgage on it, the title company or attorney will call to get a payoff from that mortgage company. And then you should know who the mortgage company is. I'm not going to get into that, but make sure you keep a little bit of debt on your houses so you know when they go try to sell your property, and know who that lender is, right? So that's how we do it. You got to make sure you cover it. This is chess, right? Not checkers. You got to make sure it's covered. How can I make sure my son takes charge of my properties and trust when you move on to the afterlife? Yes, you can do successor beneficiary as well. Same thing with that successor trustee. Maybe I need to put that document in there too. Successor beneficiary. You could say, in the event of my passing, the new beneficiary is, well, I don't know, Mr. Renee, whatever his last name is. So the new beneficiary, like when you move on to the afterlife, it's seamless. You don't have to go down to the courthouse to record a new deed. You don't have to do probate, none of that crap. So the successor trustee is named right in the trust document. And maybe I think I might have to start adding that in. So you can even name that in your original trust or an addendum to it. It's right there. So your son will call the trustee, right? If he wants to sell it, hopefully he'll be a master at managing assets. So he'll start dealing with the trustee instead of you, the successor beneficiary. Saying that's a good question. Kimbella, you're fortunate. I guess she is. Michael, I see what you're saying. If you change title, you violate the dual sale clause for most loans. That is true. So set up in a trust first, then get the HELOC. That could be true too. But I don't really care about the due on sale clause, Michael. Rounduppers, make sure you get your docs below. You get your docs half price, all my land trust docs. What he's talking about, Michael, the due on sale clause, I don't really address it because my mentors have been doing this since the 80s and the 90s. They've accumulated, I don't know how many hundreds of subject to houses. And the due on sale clause, I mean, I have never seen it. They've only seen it called twice. So I'm not really worried about that. And I'm not trying to disguise anything, you know. I used to, like, say for instance, when I bought a house, I remember Michael Little, I bought a house from Michael Little. So I made the trust, the Little Family Trust. But now I don't really care. I don't want to seem like I don't want to say defraud, trying to cover up something, right? Because at the end of the day, you are transferring title. Jamal Dark, this is good stuff. Yes, America is a trust. You are correct. Nikhil, you've got a Wyoming entity out of my price range to act as my trustee, and I am the managing member. Wow, that is sharp. You really laying it on thick. Jason, hey Jason, where you at, dog? If you want to use an entity, use a C corp. I don't know. I don't do asset protection. We do estate planning only. Brad, do private lenders or hard money lenders? Do private lenders or hard money lenders allow you to use the land trust? Absolutely. Don't forget, private lenders don't care who's on title. They can give a hill of beans. They just want to make sure you're going to borrow the money. The money goes to the title company. You fix the house up, give them the money back or long term. And they have their mortgage or deed of trust against that house, right? So hard money lenders, they don't care. But hard money guys, you're probably going to have to sign a personal guarantee for your LLC maybe. But hard money lenders only lend, from my experience, lend to LLCs. So Brad, you're going to have your LLC as the beneficiary for your trust, okay? Jessica, hey, can I place the trust in a 501c3 or will that negate the anonymity? Well, here's the thing. I don't want to talk out of turn, but from the way I set these trusts up, here's your trust, owns the house, trustees who works for you. The beneficiary can be whoever you wanted to be, Jessica. I don't know whether that beneficiary is going to be a 501c3, going to be an LLC, a C Corp, S Corp, an INC, or a person. That's up to you. All we're doing here today, Jessica, is talking about taking title. The land trust takes title to the property. All right. Now, how you set up the beneficiaries, that's up to you. I wouldn't see a problem. Obviously, I'm not an attorney to advise you, but you have to decide who the beneficiary is going to be to your land trust, right? I don't know who that would be. Brian Knight, hey, can you put a clause in the forms? Yeah, you can put whatever clause you want to put. Add, take it out, whatever you want, bro. Beezer, like the button if you're loving. Thank you, Beezer. You are such a cool. Jermaine, what's up, my friend? Renee, if you're he's talking to Renee. You guys are talking amongst yourselves. Okay, we're almost out of questions. This is good. This is good. Oh, no, we aren't. Oh, my Lord. I thought we were almost out of questions. Y'all can keep them coming. I'll stay with you. This is my last training for the year. I'm done. Rounduppers, if you haven't yet, make sure you get your exercise, vote yourself in to stop buying houses in your name. Oh, they're talking amongst themselves. Nikki. Hey, Nikki. It's a cool little picture you have there. Okay. Can I use a trust to purchase a tax lien? So I'm not in a tax lien state, Nikki, but the tax lien is not real estate. So you're going to have to use a different trust. It's going to be a personal property trust, which I'm not covering today. I will not be covering a personal property trust. This is about real estate because the tax lien, you're not buying a house, right? So land trust is just to take ownership of that house, all right? Don't forget, Roundup, click that like button, the thumbs up button for your boy, please. Yes, we won't judge Mathis. I saw you say that earlier, Beezer. It's too much. Maryland. Tax lien, we did that one already. Danny, how is it that we keep the trustee from selling a property from under us? I believe you made a video about that last year. Danny, I have not went public with this one yet. I haven't went public. I covered it if you want to rewind the video, but we put mortgages. We put deeds of trusts against our property. I might do that one, but I don't know if I'm ready to let that one go. You put a deed of trust on your property, you can foreclose anybody else off. I love foreclosures because we can take, right? We can take our property back. We take the property back. Foreclosures are unobstructable. No one can stop you other than the bankruptcy. And I'm sure a few other things, but generally speaking, the foreclosure takes back the property. So if you have a mortgage or deed of trust on a house, You can do your own foreclosure and take back your house. I don't want to get too deep into that. I'm a little nervous about sharing that one. I don't want to seem like I'm trying to. Anyway, let me leave it there. I'll leave it there, Danny. Dennis, I'm a little confused when taking over payments on a subject to. Do I put my land trust information on the purchase and sale docs or wait for the land trust? Okay, you're taking over payments subject to. Do I put my land trust information? Yes. Good question. So when you're buying, I don't want to delete this stuff. When you're buying a house, right? When you're buying, I don't care. Dennis or Denise, I think, Missy, I think we're jumbling up buying subject to, or if you're getting a loan or paying cash. They are no different. They are no different when it comes to the purchase and sale agreement buyer, who's on the buyer side of that contract, right? So the buyer is your trust. All right. The buyer is your trust. So you put 456 trust as the buyer. It doesn't matter whether you're paying cash, taking over the payments, or getting a loan, or getting a land contract, or even just doing an option. The buyer is the trust. And then, you might need some help how to word that purchase and sale agreement, because you do have to put the magic subject to language in there. This isn't a subject to training today. But yes, you must put the right language in there, but your buyer is the trust. There you go. Then you do the trust at closing, but you have the purchase and sale agreement before closing with the seller, because they got to sign it first to turn it into the attorney or title company. Affidavit of trustee. I did not include that. Golly, Nico, you owe me today, bro. You owe me today. Let me see if I got it. I can read it to you. Sometimes the title company, here it is, right here. I'll add it on there. Affidavit of trustee, right? This is just saying that I'll read it to you. This is for my okay. Sometimes when you show up at closing, right, the title company or attorney, they don't want your trustee to show up based on words, right? They want to have something written, because real estate speaks in documents. So sometimes we have to have a document stating that the trustee can act on behalf of the beneficiary, and that the trust exists, right? That it exists. Just another thing, because the last thing a title company wants is to get audited and somebody not have a document, or somebody say, I didn't tell you to do that. So the undersigned further acknowledge and certifies that as the trustee of the blank trust, I'm not going to tell you the name, the buyer of 123 Easy Street, and that this property will be sold within the time frame stated and whatever you agree. So you might sometimes have to do an affidavit, David. And yeah, Nicole, I can give you that. I didn't include that. Bay Area, hey, you are welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for the info. You are welcome. Is there a replay? No, but you can get this training will be on my channel, but you will not be able to get the discount after midnight today. You can still get the docs. Can you place your trust in a 501c3? We went over that. I would just make the beneficiaries your 501c3. All right. You need that title company in the Bay Area. Yeah, I can give it to you. I got to get my boy Eric on here. 200 too cheap. You're right. I'm too cheap. But I'm helping millions of people drag and manifest. I'm helping millions. All of the Tony, are all of the documents? Oh, you're in the A. Okay. All of the documents kept in the folder with the trust agreement? Absolutely. So you can see my folder here. Never leaves. I got my trust agreement, affidavit of trustee. Here. The same thing. Oh, here it is. Affidavit of trustee. I, blank trustee of the blank trust, have the authority to sell, purchase, encumber property pursuant to in accordance with the terms and the provisions of the trust agreement. That's still in your file, right? So sometimes you might not even want to give the title company the land trust. You might just want to give them the affidavit of trust. And I'll add this on. I'll add that. I'll upload it to your link, because the link, make sure you keep that link. I'll add that on there. Yes, everything goes in the folder, bro. You don't want nobody seeing that. Christian, what is my price to be a trustee on a house? It'd be $200, my friend. $200. It's not worth my time to do it for $100 anymore. I'm just people, I was doing it for 100, right? And then people just running me crazy, asking me a million questions, Christian. So I'm like, you know what? I just give. And my wife's like, you too cheap. You too cheap, Chris. What's the title company? I don't know. I have to get it from my boy, Eric. Jamon, what up? If you already said this, I didn't hear it. Can we go to the land trust route for subject to deals and short sales? Yes. Jamon, I don't want you ever buying a property ever again unless it's in a trust. I don't care if it's to subject to. I don't even care if you're going to wholesale it. Let me give you a picture here. Let me give you an analogy of what's going to happen. I promise you, if you stay in this business long enough, things are going to happen. Say you're going to wholesale it. Let's back up. If you're just a wholesaler, right, Jamon, you get a property under contract. It's your name or your company name. You can't find a buyer. Your seller says that daggone so-and-so Jamon tied my house up for 30, 60 days and didn't close on it. He was going to wholesale it. What if they want to come after the buyer on that contract? All right. If it's your company or if your name, which you shouldn't be doing that anyway. I want you to use a trust, even if you're going to wholesale it, my brother, because if you can't find a buyer, let the seller come after a trust. Put the trust on the contract. That way, they want to come after a dead trust. You didn't even initiate the trust because you never even bought it. All right. That's huge roundup. I hope you're getting that. I had to work that one. But I want you to use the trust, whether you're buying it, subject to, land contract, option, cash. Even if you're going to wholesale it, Jamon, I want you using a trust because I don't want you holding the bag on that liability, right? Because if you can't buy it, if you're trying to wholesale it, I promise you, I've seen it with my clients and with my inner circle members. I know my boy. Seller got pissed because he didn't close on it, came after him. And he had it in his LLC, right? I'm like, man, you got to stop putting this stuff in your LLC. Ron, hey, Ron, looking mighty smooth. Is this good for your own personal property? Oh, man, absolutely. Ron, do you know the house that I live in? You probably heard this a million times. We bought it subject to, not in my name. Never put it in your name. Even the house you live in, my friend. You don't want to have any houses, any real estate that you own in your name. Even the properties that you live in, dog. All right. Raleigh. Hey, Raleigh, Kiva. Jason, you got all the docs, but you need training on how I present what I do with the seller, how to structure the deals. Jason, sounds like you got to join my inner circle, but what I will tell you, if someone asks you about trusts, which they have asked me, all you have to do is say, Ms. Smith, we use trust for estate planning purposes. Sign here. Is that okay? They don't care. They do not care about the name of the buyer on your contract. Jason, you might be doing too much. I don't know what you're doing, but structuring these deals, I mean, it takes time, Jason. If you're new, sounds like you might be a little relatively new. Don't beat yourself up. It's going to take time and get some training. You know, if you're not with me, get some training with someone, just like I did. I just happen to have a good mentor. J Modern Homes, James Ford. What's up, buddy? How can I start building my personal credit to try to establish leverage against business credit so I can get a line of credit? Good gracious, you got credit. That's a tongue twister there. I don't know. I don't deal in the credit world. And my credit is, I don't know what it is. I mean, I haven't checked it in probably 5 years. The last time I've got 2 loans. I promise after I pay these things off, I am so done. But yeah, I don't know how to build up credit, my friend. I'm sorry. I'm the wrong guy. You probably need to call Fund and Grow. If you go, matter of fact, if you give them my name, they'll give you a $500 discount on their program. They have a credit repair program. I'm not quite sure how to do that. I'm sorry. Rod, is the warranty deed recorded at the courthouse? Yes, your deed goes down to the courthouse, but the land trust agreement, the trust agreement stays in the file. The warranty deed just has the trustee's name on it and the name of the trust, not the beneficiaries. All right. Good question, Rod. Behind the lens. Chris, have I ever heard back from the sub 2 student that was in PA who needed a lawyer to finish his deal? I'm sure they found somebody. I didn't hear back from them. I guess I don't know, man. Then so many people came through since then. Bounce City, I'm about to do a sub 2 deal. Praise God. but no one in town or surroundings want to or will be able to close it. Welcome to walking the line of the wealthy. Also, sellers in jail. Yeah. What would you do? Can a notary in jail will be able to close it? I don't know. Sorry, Bounce City. I'm not sure about that one. But here's the thing. First of all, winners never give up. Give up, Bounce City, right? The greats persevere regardless of the situation. And 3, I want to tell you, you are talking wealth talk, Bounce City. You're not talking to, man, not everybody understands subject to. I mean, I deal with this every day. People call me, Chris, I can't find somebody to close. I don't know who do I call? I talked to 10 attorneys. It took me 5 years to find my people, right? I mean, I'm sure nowadays with the internet, it's easier to find people. But you are going to have to go through many title companies and attorneys that are going to understand the true language of the wealthy, right? Because attorneys, they're still, a lot of them are broke too. They spend all their money. They got they have high incomes, but they also have high expenses. Sister Vega, oh yeah, make a love offering. Just click on the little thing at the top there. You should see my it'll say super chat. Just click on the little super chat. Be right there at the top there. I appreciate you for thinking about me. That is cool. Robert Smith, can we wholesale a land trust in the state of Illinois as well? Absolutely. Illinois is a land trust state. That's very simple. You are going to use the assignment of beneficial interest, my friend. Oh, you already did that. Okay. Nikki, we went over that one. You cannot, tax lien is not real estate. You have to wait till they take the house back. Tax lien is not real estate, so you're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to wait. Kimbella, hey, New York. Oh, you're in NY. You need to call. What is it? Jessica Siegel. I have property with the insurance in order to cover the mortgage if you move on. Will having a property in the trust affect the insurance policy? I don't know, but what I did with all of my houses, I made sure my insurance carrier knew they were all in land trusts. Let me repeat that. I made sure my insurance carrier, I called them up. I said, listen, all these houses, went down the line. They're all in trust. Here's the name of the trust. They just added the trust onto it. That was it. It's over. Michael, is it your state that requires the trustee to be someone other than yourself? No, absolutely not. That's my requirement. That's your boy's requirement, Michael. I never said there was a state requirement for that. In Indiana, the trustee doesn't have to be disclosed on title. So it is an issue if I name myself as a trustee. No, I don't mind that. Michael, that's new to me. I never seen that, but you could be right. I know I've done some deals in Indiana, and I've seen some people on title out there, but you know more than me. Can a corp be a trustee? Absolutely. Yes, I would recommend that if you don't know anybody too. So you can have your ABC LLC, which is yours. You own that as the trustee. Then you can have, what is this? You can have XYZ LLC be the beneficiary. So you are, in essence, both the trustee and the beneficiary, but you're behind the scenes signing, right? But I don't recommend that. I just say use somebody else. Shaq Burke. So the title has the trustee name on it or the trust's name. Both. The title has the trustee and your trust's name. Danny, when keeping a small amount of debt to keep a trustee from selling the property, if you are close to paying the property off, should you refinance or take a line of credit? Do not pay it off, Danny. And if you do, you're going to call that lender and ask them to assign that mortgage over to your company. Let me repeat that. If you're paying off the mortgage, right, paying it down, so you pay it off, you can call that lender, say, instead of giving me a certificate of satisfaction, can you just assign that loan over to my company? So now you have no debt. So now you're the new mortgage holder against your own property. Good gracious, let me repeat that. You're the mortgage holder against your own property. You can foreclose on yourself. Ooh, I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to go there. I don't like teaching. This is like super advanced stuff. Foreclosing on yourself. I'm not going to go deep into that. It's just like substitute trustee stuff. Not substitute, substitution of collateral. I don't like going deep. Foreclosing on yourself. Good God, what do you mean by that, Chris? I don't want to go there. But Danny, I hope you kind of got that. Al, have these docs changed if I purchased in the past? No, I added some on Al Entrepreneur. You still have the link. Just go in there. You can get it. It's the same link. We just added some stuff. Tina, hey, I just caught the tail end of your class. How can I watch the whole class? Tina, what I recommend, you can rewind it. And when I get done, you can rewind it. But get your docs, though, so you can follow along. The docs are half price until tonight. But yeah, the training will still be up. The training is free. It's just the docs that I charge for. Global mindset. Can I use a trust to buy an automobile like ownership of a house? HU, what up? H, are you in the house? So yes, you can, but you're going to have to use something called personal property trust. Let's see if I can show it here. I have it. Today, we're not talking about personal property. We're talking about, there we go. Personal property trusts include vehicles of any kind or other assets that would be titled. One asset per trust. All right. So you got to have your research. Personal property trust. We are not talking about personal property trusts today. These are real property trusts, land trusts. You got it now. Shaq. Oh my goodness. I hear you I hear you screaming. I hear your mind melting through the internet there. I hear your brain frying, bro. Shaq, I hear your brain frying. We still got 110 people on here. We are so blessed to be able to serve. Global, you received your land trust last month. Can you send me the additional updates to agreement? You received your land trust last month. Can you send me Global, just go to the link. You still got the link. They're all in there. All we did was add documents to the original link. Nothing's different. Brad, you in New Jersey. Okay. And plan on using hard money lender for the purchase with an LLC. That's cool. But you can always use your LLC as the beneficiary and then take title with the land trust. Praise God. That's exactly what I would do. Don't forget, the hard money lender is not going to loan you any money unless you have an LLC. When I refi and pull the cash out, will the land trust cause issues with the refi? Perhaps. Brad, that's a good question. Yes, perhaps. You see, the Wells Fargo's of the world, the Bank of America's of the world may or may not understand land trusts, or they may not even want you to take title in a land trust. So what you might have to do, Brad, is simply deed it out of your trust into the LLC when you refinance it. But they might not even let you use your LLC to refi. They might make you put it in your name. You got a couple of things you're going to be up against with that, Brad. But after all the smoke clears with the refi, you can always put it back in the trust. All right. Shaq, is the trust only for residential? Can you do commercial? Absolutely. Commercial and any real estate. Shaq, any real estate. SFS Florida Bob, are my docs good in Florida? Absolutely. Florida is a land trust state, my friend. Florida is a land trust state. I am thankful. Me too. Do we need to own our right? Do we need to own our right? Or can we put in trust with mortgage? Do not understand that one. I'm thankful. I'm sorry. See if you can type that back in. I didn't understand that one. Do we need to Bay Area. I found an attorney to review your docs. Cool. She charges $500 an hour. Good God almighty. Is that normal? No. How many hours should it take? It should take 30 minutes. You know what? I might pay $250. It should take her 30 minutes to review those docs. Mark, if you sell the property and you make the check out to the trust, I hope not. Do you have to open a bank account in the name of the trust in order to cash that check? Maybe. I've never had to do that. Will I have to get an EIN for the trust? I praise God you do not have to. But let me tell you, Mark, sometimes, like, okay, we own a house, Mark, and we're selling it, right? Sometimes the buyer's title company wants to make the check out to the land trust. Let me repeat that. When we own a house and we're selling it, the buyer's title company or the buyer's attorney is the one that kind of disperses funds. So they want to sometimes disperse funds in the name of that land trust. Oh man, this is cool. Anonymous. I just made 10. Thank you for your love offering, Anonymous. I'm working for you, my friend. I'm working. Thank you. So you can do an affidavit. Say if the buyer's title company is making the check out to the trust, you can do an affidavit with your title company saying when they receive the funds to just convert it, or keep it in their escrow and convert it to the beneficiary. That's what we do. That's a one document. You could just say, I know the title company has received funds from the sale of 123 Easy Street. We are going to hold the funds in escrow and pay them out to the beneficiary of the trust. I would try that. Oh, my boy Barnhill, what up, dog? Beard looking mighty crispy. Sean P., what about tax implications? In Florida, you get homestead exemptions on personal home. Will a trust count? I would say if you live in it, don't forget, a trust is nothing but a pass-through entity. It is a pass-through entity. So everything that comes into the trust flows through to this tax ID number or this social security number, all right? So don't be using the trust thinking you're going to avoid some taxes. That ain't going to happen. Oh, man, I'm happy about this. I made $10, y'all. I made $10. Anonymous. Bounce City. Do you file or record the trust anywhere? No, you do file it in your file cabinet in your office or in your home. That's it. You do not let anybody see that land trust agreement, my friend. Rounduppers, make sure you're downloading your documents below. Half price. Get all my land trust docs at the link below. The discount will end at midnight. And hit that like button, please. Hit that like button while I'm still here. I always forget to ask while we're still training. Make sure you take a second to subscribe to your boy's channel. I'm not done yet. I always forget at the end of my classes. Subscribe to my channel, Rounduppers. Prana Properties. Chris, if you are buying a rental with hard money and then go to refinance and banks always want the house in your name. I wouldn't necessarily say always. Let's say generally speaking. How would you handle a situation like that? You're buying a rental property, home money. Yes. Hard money to refinance. Yeah, they're going to make you put it in your name. So when you go to closing, you're just going to have a deed putting it in your name. So if let's say 156 Trust owns it with the hard money, you want to refinance it, right? When you go to closing with the refi, you're going to have a new deed deeding it into your name. That's all. Just deed it back out. Once you deed it in your trust, in your name, deed it back out. Is Arizona a land trust state? You can just Google it. Let me see. Land trust states. Illinois, Florida, Indiana, Virginia, North Dakota, and Hawaii. But that doesn't mean that you can still use them. They're just saying that they're not going to hold up with any legal ramifications. But we don't have anything legal here. This is just ownership of our property. And you can just change it to a grantor revocable trust. It's really not that complicated. Us humans like to muddy up stuff, right? I don't know why we do that. Jamon, Indiana is a tricky state because they have rules and totally different. Oh, they could. You are welcome. Kimbella, you're welcome. Jay Free, is there a way for me to put a home I currently have in my name and transfer it into a trust? Absolutely. Take your deed. You're going to have to get your deed. Take it to your local title company or attorney. Take your trust. You're going to sign it over from your current name, which is in your name. And don't feel bad, Jay Free. I did the same thing. Matter of fact, I still have 2 houses that are in my name, and I'm going to be getting them out in 2020. I'm completely transparent. I know it is hard to get properties out of your name that you already have in your name. I know it's hard. It's easy to buy them in a trust. Hard to transfer them after you own them in your name. So go down to your title company, take your land trust. You already got your docs. They will create it. Let them create the deed and record it. That way you're hands off. Give them $200 and it's over. Can you do a video on substitution of collateral, please? Oh my Lord, y'all. Jessica, you got your boy working. I might do that. I'll do that for free though. Chris, Working Knowledge Bank. Thank you. Praise God. Thank you for hanging in with me. Foreclose on your. Yeah, I didn't want to. Danny, I didn't want to say that one, man, but golly. Peace. What up? Oh, what up? Oh. You know what's weird? Even if you're a lawyer, that doesn't mean you're going to know this stuff. Shit. You know what's crazy? I'm like this. I teach lawyers. I can't believe I'm literally showing lawyers how to do this stuff around the country. Mark, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Jessica, can you do a 1031 with your LLC if the property is originally in a trust? 1031. Let's see. That's a good question. That means you're selling it to yourself. That might be something called self-dealing, Jessica, but I want to stay away from that one. I don't know. I think it has to be to a third party. Oh, yes. Thank you, Beezer. Appreciate that. Thank you, Beezer. Take that. Sean P. talking about the home. I'm talking about the homestead exemption one receives for the personal home. Normal, the house would be in your name. Also, is it protected through bankruptcy? It is not protected through bankruptcy. Sean, don't forget, the trust is passed through. Let me take this off. Oops. Trust passes through to the beneficiary. So what I'm thinking, you're going to have to take your trust. What I had to do one time, several times, take my trust down to the city to show them who the beneficiary was to get my permits. So you probably can still get it. Because think about grandma and pa. I would love for them to have their homes in trust. Shit, I can't even get my own parents to put their house in a trust, right? And I'm the guru. Isn't that crazy? I can't even get my own peeps that's another thing. But if you show them that the beneficiary is the person that lives there, I'm sure it should be no problem. But yes, you're probably going to have to prove, like when I had my IRS audit, I had to prove to the IRS that I was indeed the owner / beneficiary of the trust. Because they're like, when they did the audit, they were like, well, who was 123 Easy Street Trust? I'm like, well, that's me. Oh yeah, prove it. IRS is cool. They'll give you all the deductions in the world. They'll let you write off all the stuff you want to write off. They'll let you take every mile that you drove. You just got to prove it, right? Just got to prove it. And they're cool with it. I don't think they had a problem with it. You're going to have to prove that, though. Roger, what if one or both beneficiaries move on to the afterlife? How do relatives name new beneficiaries? That's going to be a tricky one. However, Roger, that's a good question. Both of them move on. Oh, what you better do is have your successor beneficiary in place in the land trust. So that way, here's the thing. If you got a document that says successor beneficiary is Jimmy Jones, it's right here on the paper. Nothing to argue about, nothing to talk about. It's right there. That's why I love real estate. If it's in writing, it's real, right? Al, entrepreneur. Need an attorney from Maine. He was retired. Oh, Lord. No, I haven't done anything in Maine, my brother. Maya, thank you. Praise God. Thank you too. Rounduppers. Make sure you take some time to invest in yourself. I'm running my special here today. We'll end midnight tonight. Get your land trust doc packet. Get those houses out of your name. Take some time to understand how this thing works. You will not understand it on the first time. You will not. It took me 3 years. House goes in trust. Trustee signs on behalf of beneficiary. House name 123 trust, right? Rounduppers, just take some time. Educate yourself. And remember, you are walking in the paths of the wealthy. You're walking in the paths of the wealthy. So why am I saying that? I got to continually say that because a lot of people think, well, I can't find somebody that can close this thing for me. Or I can't find somebody that understands how these documents work. You're not going to find everybody to do that. It took me years to find people that can even comprehend, understand, conceptualize how this stuff works. And it's taken me since 2010, to put this stuff together, to be able to teach it to you. Why didn't you hear from me until 2017? I was busy grinding, learning this stuff. Now I'm in the part of my life where I can give it out as opposed to suck it all in, which I'm still taking in too. So you're not going to find every attorney and title company that understands this. I am running into this coast to coast. Florida to Maryland to Indiana, to Cali, to Texas. I run into the same problems with my inner circle members. It's Chris, the attorney said you can't buy a house in a trust. Oh yeah. Good God, how many? I mean, anyway, it's not just you, Roundup. It's you. It's me too. All right. So listen, this has been a great class. Make sure you take a second to subscribe to my channel. Hit that thumbs up button. And I want to hear, how are you buying houses? How are you using trust? How are you going to implement that? I would love to know in the comments below. How are you going to implement land trust into your business? Don't be scared. If you're anything like me, once again, I know who you are because I've been you. I found out about land trust 2007. 2008, I was scared, didn't want to do it. 2009, kept learning. Like, damn, I know I need to do this. Like, why am I still buying houses in my name and in my company name? I mean, it makes no sense to do that, So it took me. Then finally, I said, you know what? This is what I will do. I tried it, and ever since 2010, it's been smooth sailing, no problems. Oh, okay. Hold on, we got another couple questions coming in. I love Q&A. I'll do them all here. Deals of students in Massachusetts, not me. Oh, MA is Massachusetts. Oh shit, my bad. I made a mistake on that. Do I have anybody in Massachusetts? I will have to look at my inner circle members. I'm sure I do. Sorry. Carrie just clicked on this 15 minutes ago. Fascinating. But what is the importance of trust? Do you have another video explaining this? Carrie, remember, land trust is only a way to take title to a piece of real estate. So you don't have to put it in your company name or your name. Trusts are just to take title to property, right? That's why we don't want to worry about some creditor or predator coming after us. It's just a matter of time if you haven't had that yet. I've seen homes listed on county records, Mrs. VSNC. I've seen homes listed on county records at trust and was like, wow. Okay, yep, there you go. You got it. Sunny Road, what's up? Can the trustee also be the beneficiary? Yes, you can be both. The trustee can also be the beneficiary. I do not recommend that, but I have seen some lenders require that. All right. Rounduppers, I want you to have a Merry Christmas. I'm sure I'll see you before then, but I'm hoping Jessica Siegel's going to come on with us later today. Roundup, get your education up. Stop buying houses in your name and your company name. Thank you for letting me serve you. Man, it's a pleasure. If you want to invest with us, shoot me a private message to chrisbuyshouses@gmail.com. If you want to sell us a house, we buy houses all around the Hampton Roads area of Virginia. And if you have any questions or you're interested in learning more about real estate, or matter of fact, in 2020, I will be rolling out my YouTube/internet marketing mastermind. If you're interested in that as well, just shoot me a private message to chrisbuyshouses@gmail.com. Land trust, warranty deed. Yeah, they all come with the doc package, my brother. Okay, Roundup. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.